Hello! You are watching The Garden Corner Show. We are crazy passionate about everything gardening, and we're very, very real. I am J-Dog, Jonn Karsseboom. I'm out here with Mr. Dave, and what we are continuing on is the winter damage report. So the weather's starting to warm up nicely, thank goodness. And we're venturing outside, and I want to kind of go over some plants that I think you should watch out for that are showing some winter damage, and then maybe give you a hint on, give you some ideas on what to do about it. Right behind me is a very established Escallonia. Now, Escallonia is really a great plant because it's evergreen. It's supposed to be evergreen. It has that glossy green leaf on there. I want to say it's almost kind of like an azalea leaf, but it can take the hot sun. Escallonia is also known to be the longest blooming shrub around it. And this particular one is called Pink Princess, so it has that kind of a dark pink bloom on it. There are other varieties as well that have lighter pink or darker pink blooms and bigger leaves and smaller leaves on there. But generally, it's one of the street tough shrubs, extremely dependable. Now, on this guy here right behind me, you can see was planted fairly close together to create this kind of this block, or it's just a great shrub, as a block, and you prune it to however height you like. Now, normally on a normal winter, this would just be nice and green and lush green. But what happened was, as you can see here on the edge, it's really, really weak looking. And this is what I think you're going to have to watch out for, because during our winter, we dropped down to the really, really cold, and it wasn't so much the cold, but as well as the dryness that accompanied with it, because we had some cold, dry winds coming through. So cold and dry is just as bad as hot and dry. So on one of the toughest shrubs around, we're seeing some damage. Now on this guy here, I think what's going to happen is actually this shrub you'll probably have to pull out. Now there is some growth on there, and what you can do is give it a real hard trimming back. Hopefully this other shrub next to it will compensate, but if you're hoping for a really quick response that this is going to flush out new growth and recover, I think that's going to be a long, long wait. So it's a patience question. If you're very, very patient, trim it back, see what happens, give it some water, give it some good fertilizer in the early spring. If you're not that patient, go ahead, pull it out. Okay, now behind me on this guy, as you can see, now it's also trimmed back, so a lot less foliage on there, but there is that damage, and I suspect it's going to need to be pulled out. But it's it's that question, it's that patience question. If you're really, really patient and you want to see what happens, trim it back, see what happens. But not to be surprised on some of the toughest shrubs that you'll find some damage. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. That's the show for the day. But if you don't get anything from that, here is the quote. And since this is Valentine's Day week, right? Are we showing this Valentine's Day? Valentine's Day week? Yeah. We're going to have a Valentine's Day quote. Not Valentine's Day, but Valentine's Day week. Here's the quote. Love is blind, but marriage restores its sight. Thank you very much, George Lichtenberg. That's the show. Live your passion.
See me right out of the sunset of the